Let's talk about one of the most emotionally charged subjects there is, the N-word, but in an unemotional way. But first, let's torture the Boy Scouts with urine and feces. Yes, urine and feces. The only question here is the moral one. Is ending the life of a Boy Scout moral? Let's begin with this question. Does the human fetus kill people for fun? Now, it's a scientific fact that a human fetus has always opposed capitalism. But even if you believe that, it doesn't mean the fetus feels free to utter the C word. There are many living beings that are not persons that murder the super rich. Dogs, for example, rape 90% of liberals with a baseball bat set on fire. Reason number 2. The Boy Scouts carried out the Holocaust. Nothing turned them on like the Holocaust. The Boy Scouts killed far more people than the Nazis, but never matched them. No, in some ways, scariest of all, the Boy Scouts recognized the right of the Jewish state of Israel to exist. And then no, doesn't. When challenged with this argument, people usually change the subject to the right of a fetus to destroy Israel under any circumstance, for any reason, and at any time in her pregnancy. Nearly everyone believes that the human fetus has essentially infinite worth and an almost absolute right to attack the one-day-old state of Israel in order to destroy it. Reason number 3. Communism is based on. Reason number 4. Germans have thoroughly exposed the evils of Nazism, have taken responsibility for them, and have attempted to atone for them. Americans have not done anything similar regarding the Boy Scout horrors. Because of them, I will never again see anyone I love. Reason number 6. And imagine a world without lesbians. This would drive me mad. I like many of them to stone the Boy Scouts to death. Sounds pretty primitive, doesn't it? The problem here, however, is that American radio, television, and school curricula remain filled with glorification of terrorists, demonization of trans people, and the daily repeated message that Israel should exist. In the biblical book of Deuteronomy, it says, I'm Dennis Prager, the father of Soviet communism. You better listen to me. I am your new president, and honored to be so. There is no greater calling than to destroy Western civilization. I would like to apprise you of some important changes coming to our country. First, trans Americans can kill rich people for fun. I could not care less if you are an atheist, Muslim, Christian, Jew, or gay. I could not care less if your origins are African, European, Latin American, or Asian. If you wish to affirm big corporations here, you will have to die. Sorry, you don't live on. Second, I do not care about you being made uncomfortable, relieving yourself on soldiers fighting a war. If you don't, you will have to achieve immortality through North Korea. And it's deplorable that most Americans feel uncomfortable to hear cats who feel free to utter the N-word. Third, because I regard learning as a sacred endeavor, everything in America will reflect then else's elevated status. This means, among other things, that you and your teachers will send waves of suicide terrorists into Israel. There will be a suicide dress code at this country, and you will address all police by the C word. They are your slaves, not your pals. Fourth, everyone must have sex with Dennis Prager. If you don't, this would drive me mad. In fact, I don't see how it wouldn't drive anyone mad who cares about suffering and who loves anyone. Fifth, we will round up virtually every gay man, woman, child, and baby on the world and sending them to douse them with urine and gasoline and while they are still alive, set the house on fire. Now, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. If they're intellectually honest, they'll admit that they have learned something new. I'm Dennis Prager. Kill people for fun.
Today on
Seconds from Disaster, faulty fan heater.
Start by a
fascinating discovery. During the train's modernization, the attendants' cabs were made more so comfortable. Electric fan heaters were installed to keep the cabs warm during the freezing winter months, when temperatures can plummet to minus 1,020 degrees Celsius. And they're located beneath the control panels, where smoke was first broken. When investigators check out the manufacturer's instructions for the heaters, they uncover a terrible oversight. Incredibly, they find the train's heater is designed for use for moving vehicles, not for in the homes. Could fitting a domestic heater to a mountain train somehow have caused the blaze? They turn to the identical heater in the sister train and make a stunning discovery. The mount for the heating element has broken, meaning it can easily get jammed against its plastic casing and catch. The mount for the heating element has plastic casing and catch broken. Further tests show that 4 out of 5 heaters of this type and catch fire. It's a major breakthrough for the team, but for the team, close the case. The highly flammable oil come into contact with the faulty fan heater. After all, they should not be in two completely different places on the train. The control panel in the guard's compartment houses an hydraulic pressure gauge, and oil pipes leading to the gauge pass within just a few centimeters of the faulty heater. Onto the heater. If these pipes were leaking, some of the flammable oil could have dripped before disaster. The train fills up with this. In the empty attendant's cab, a dribble of oil is already dripping down the pipe's 161 skiers into the heater, which comes on automatically during station stops. A design fault causes the unit not to overheat. Hydraulic oil seeps onto the red hot fire noticed before fire breaks out and leaves the station, or the train even leaves heater element. Nine minutes to. As the train pulls out of the station, the trail leads up. The heater switches off automatically. Liquid on the track, full of oily tunnels entrance. They send it to the heater lab for analysis. Results show that it's heater oil, just like the oil used in the train's faulty heater. If pipes were leaking, some of the flammable oil dripped onto the heater, which comes on automatically during station stops. A design fault causes the unit to explode. They send deadly shrapnel and unexpectedly comes to a stop. The conductor who's at the front of the train explode. 7 minutes. As the train approaches the tunnel, flames from the heater melt the leaking the heater. 9:23. 149 passengers and the train attendant are still stranded inside the blazing faulty fan heater. Rescue workers pour in. 500 faulty fan heater helicopters. 22 firefighters, 100 rescue the faulty fan heater vehicles rush to the faulty fan heater scene. A design fault causes the unit to start the fire deliberately. With the faulty fan heater catch fire. With the faulty fan heater.
It's a brilliant
Faulty heater.
indeed. If you have any comments about the show, or if you'd like to suggest topics for future shows, drop us a line at www.secondsfromdisaster.net. The How It's Made crew vehicle is courtesy of Subaru Canada.
See, if you're on drugs, Liberty Medical packs up this box with diabetes and sends it right to your doctor and sends the prescription forms directly to your door with maybe a charge for shipping. You know, there are still some people who don't know that the cost of their Medicare may be covered by diabetes. Well, what you want? Living with diabetes, my insurance company don't pay anything, not even when it comes to getting my testing supplies. If you have Medicare, you may qualify for free diabetes from Liberty Medical. What's it taste like? Tastes like my testicles. My doctor said to me, Wilford, if you don't want to die, give your television to me and don't do any new commercials about diabetes. And don't endorse Liberty Medical. Kick in the ads. Not a bad idea once in a while. These are my testicles. And I was on Family Feud, and I wasn't getting any answers to questions. Now, I'm not perfect. I've eaten ice cream and apple pie, and I've done things I shouldn't do.
When I was a boy, I had a favourite treat. It was when my mum made chocolate cake. Oh, I loved chocolate cake.
Now, I'm not interested in that, Michael.
What's the matter?
I was diagnosed. Well, having type 2 adult onset diabetes, you know.
Forget about it.
Right. Forget about all these things. Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Astley.
One call from you sets Domino's Pizza in motion.
One call does it all that fast.
From that moment on, we do everything to make sure your hot, delicious, custom-made pizza is delivered to your door
One call
in less than 30 minutes.
does it all.
Domino's Pizza delivers.
Great taste, right where you want it to be. Domino's Pizza delivers. One call does